What's up, Willie? How are you today?
How are you doing today?
Good. I am doing awesome. Good to see you again. Another week down.
Oh yes, episode 3. I'm feeling very good about this program. I see potential.
Yes, I'm enjoying it very much. And we got a couple people already in the chat. We got D and Miguel and Gamer. Hello. Look at you, Gamer. You got here right at the beginning. Yeah.
I was on Around the World D and Friends. Around the World D and Friends. Let me correct myself. A few days ago.
Oh, really? You got to go on the show?
Yeah, I was on the show. I was a guest on the show a few days ago.
Cool. What did you guys talk about?
We were basically talking about Israel Palestine, the red Haifa prophecy. I guess it's something to do with a red cow. They're trying to jumpstart something. I don't know. Just trying to jumpstart. I guess the second coming or something like that is, the fanaticism behind Zionism.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
So how's your week been?
What's that now?
How's your week been?
Not bad. I'm just kind of I'm just trying to get through the week. I went to the doc, as I was telling you, I went to the doctor. He gave me better news than I thought that I should be having, but I'm cool with it. So that's the important thing, I just need to lose some more weight. It's all,
Yeah.
Because they're going to tell us, they're going to tell most people that anyway. So.
Right. Yep. So that's all you're doing is working and going to doctors all week. Oh, and doing the D show as well too. That's awesome.
Yeah, I hate going to the doctor though.
I bet.
It's just an inconvenience. I mean, I have another doctor's appointment on Tuesday, so it's probably be about. That probably won't be quite as long as the doctor's appointment that I go to on. This doctor I go to, he'll keep you there all day long. I mean, just he gave me something that was an equivalent to a stress test because the stress test is super expensive, and my insurance doesn't. It's not as generous as my previous job's insurance because when I had a union. We had really decent health coverage, but when you don't have a union, you pay more and you get less.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. What's up, Les Bones? Good to see you over on Twitch. Your week has been terrible. Can you tell us? Can I tell you guys about it? It'll only take an hour. Yes, please. Use my comment section as your therapy session. You are more than welcome to. What's up, Smeghead? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Smeghead's here, so's Gamer. How are y'all doing today? Hey, Les Bones.
Yep. All right, we got a lot of things to cover today. So do you want to start it off?
I guess we'll start off with Tim Black giving his take on Jimmy Dore's post take on the interview between Jimmy Dore and Cornel West running for president. Spoiler alert, I think everybody's correct. I think everybody's a little bit wrong.
Right. I agree. All right, let's get it started. And then I'm going to put it on like 125, the speed. That way it's just barely faster. Okay.
That's perfect.
Was the one when he talks about identity politics. Because if he didn't talk about LGBTQ, trans, all that stuff, then he would have more of a focus on the things that separate him and differentiate him from the Democratic Party. Everybody knows Cornel West supports LGBTQ trans. Everybody knows that. Just like everybody knew Bernie did. And so that was the point of that. But again, the bigger issue, and the Revolutionary Blackout Network had tried to impress upon this on Cornel as well. And so did Jill Stein's vice presidential candidate, Pajama Baraka. Yeah. He said that the Democrats are not the lesser of two evil. Democrats are fascists, just like the Republicans, and they work for the same people. So that's the bigger message. So that's my bigger message. And then I think we got into the weeds over identity politics and white supremacy. And so I don't know what people think white people hear when they say white supremacy, but it's not what they think they hear. It's divisive. It sounds like you're calling white people racist. That's what white people think when they hear that. I don't know what they mean by it because the Democrats call everything that they don't like white supremacist, right? So, for instance,
Jimmy Dore started off horrible. Yeah, man, you didn't start off any better than the last time. But this time you can tell you're trying to do better. It's like you're forcing yourself. You're fighting every gut instinct in you to be an asshole, but you're not winning, man. It's like you can't help it. You're not nice. You're not smooth. You don't have tact. You don't know how to do this. It's true, man. You're cranky as hell and you're abrasive. So he says, I don't want to do this video. I don't.
You want to say something?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's true what Jimmy Dore says. Everybody knows that the Dr. Cornel West supports LGBTQ rights. Same with Tim Black. Same with Jimmy Dore. And I mean, I think that overall, another spoiler alert is that Tim Black's going to be upset over Jimmy Dore's take on Cornel West being more into identity politics, whereas Jimmy Dore tends to be more like a class reductionist. And this is where I think everybody's correct and wrong, because I fall under the category of being like 50-50. I believe in identity politics when it's appropriate. I believe in class reductionism when it's appropriate. I mean, there's a time and place. When we're all fighting for universal health care, that's class reductionist. When we're fighting against the death penalty, that's more along the lines of identity, because I do believe that the criminal justice system is inherently racist. But it can be tied in with class, because a lot of poor white folks are kind of suffer as much too, but it's more identity on criminal justice. So I think there's a balance for me.
Right. Look, I saw the little debate with Jimmy Dore and Cornel West, and I'm seeing this stuff. I mean, I think I watched like part of this yesterday or something like that. To me, I'm seeing it as two guys were in a room talking. One says that people of color are more oppressed and need more focus. One says that the lower class needs more help and more focus. And then you've got Tim Black over here talking about which one's more of an idiot than the other. To me, like I was saying earlier, it just seems like a whose dick is bigger contest. It's a battle of the egos for me here. It's whose ego is going to win out, and it's going to be the next misogynistic thing that's going to be the new talking point for everybody else to talk about. Like, I don't know. Personally, I'm like, I don't want to say like I'm waiting to hear what a girl has to say about this, because I'm pretty sure most of these girls that are in this are all caught up in all of this stuff too, of whose side. And it's just like a side. It's a team again. And whose side are we on? Are we on Jimmy Dore or are we on Cornel West? While these two guys are sitting there in their nice houses, drinking their fucking cup of espresso, fighting over whose big dick is bigger. To me, that's all it is to me. So
yeah. I would agree, and and it's all ego. It is ego, and it's what they do. I mean, and it is funny. He's going to say that Jimmy Dore's doing this for clicks, and here's the thing. I mean, I think that he's doing it for clicks. Everybody
is, and Cornel West is doing it for votes. It's the same thing.
Look at me. I'm putting up a video, but don't watch my video. Don't subscribe to me, because I'm not doing this for clicks. I mean, that's just the oldest line I hear from a lot of these folks on the left, right, and the center that do these programs in independent media and social media, shall I say.
Right.
Yeah.
What's up, Hirsch? Good to see you. And Les Bones, you guys are fucking hilarious over on Twitch. It's breaking news. Jimmy Sunderland trashes Jimmy Dore by giving minor criticisms. And then Hirsch says, content creators with egos? What's next? Dishonest politicians?
We don't have any of those, do we?
No, not at all. Our politicians are well-aged, primed, and ready to take on our country.
Well, I believe everything that our politicians and the corporations and the news media and our government and the CIA tells us.
Yeah.
I hope people think I hope they know I'm joking when I say that.
Yeah. Expect his people to come after us now. So.
Yeah, very true.
I don't even care, because I'm not even taking any sides. I just don't like male chauvinist egos. That's why I don't watch any of this shit. This is all just more drama. Like, this is the reason why I stepped away from live streaming in the first place. Like, can we talk about the issues instead of who said what and what side we're on? Like, it literally, like, this in content creator drama, it just hasn't stopped. It just hasn't stopped. It's just
like wrestling. It's like wrestling.
Yeah, just keeps going. It's like herpes. It's just a gift that keeps on giving.
Yep.
I just know upside. Yeah, because there's got to be upside when you do content, don't you?
Oh, really quick. What's up, Warren? Good to see you.
Yeah,
Hey,
when you do
up?
something, you do it for a reason, right? There's an upside for all the videos that shit on Biden and none of them that shit on Trump. There's an upside involved, okay? But I'm going to move on from there because that's not what this video is about. I just want people to kind of like open their eyes a little bit about what you be doing.
Yeah, let me say something real quick.
Yeah, the food.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's accusing Jimmy Dore of being like, Jimmy Dore gets accused unfairly of being pro Donald Trump because he doesn't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, and he did a dig just now on Jimmy Dore about that. Here's the thing where Jimmy Dore and Tim Black has in common: neither of them really goes after Donald Trump. They both criticize Donald Trump. But they don't suffer from the Trump derangement syndrome that a lot of the shit libs suffer from. You remember the pink pussy hat wearing people that thought that Hitler came into power in January 2017. Neither Jimmy Dore nor Tim Black suffers from that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So I just thought, well, wow, he's.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just an observation.
Yeah. It would just because I don't even watch Tim Black anymore either. He doesn't bag on Trump either.
Yeah, not really. Not really. He doesn't. Yeah, I mean, there's a few people that you'd be surprised that he doesn't really trash on. I mean, he doesn't. Right. He doesn't really criticize Alex Jones, whereas all the other commentators will. I mean, yeah, he. I mean, I know where. I mean, I believe that he's on the left. Tim Black. So is Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, there was a time where that was like expected of them, where that's what we, us as audience members were looking for, was like, we didn't care. We know how stupid Trump was, like at that, like, or we wanted to, hear about Trump. And then it got to a point where he wasn't president anymore. And then that was okay to like, just ignore him. And now we need to worry about who's really in charge is Biden. So I don't, like, I see that it just seems like there was a time to be okay with not hearing about Trump because he wasn't in power anymore. We needed to hear more about Biden, but now it's coming to a point where, everybody needs to be talked about. Like, okay, we've heard enough of the bad side about Democrats. Now let's talk about everyone. Yeah, and you're right. They don't really talk about him. I don't really pay attention whether or not they talk about Trump or not, because I just blur all that shit out. I want to hear about the issues and stuff.
Very true. Very true. And it needs to be it does need to be policy based, because the policy is what's going to it's what's going to ultimately affect everyone for the better. I see Sherry. Hi Sherry, how are you?
Hey Sherry, good to see you. What's up? Comrade Kitty is in here as well.
Yeah,
what is
so
up?
It's Miguel.
Oh yeah, Miguel. Mr. H.
Yeah.
Good to see you. All right.
Food, but I'm not food, man. You're doing this to help Dr. West. There you go again, coach. See, no one asked you to help anybody do anything. People that are asked to help are people like Deion Sanders. See, Deion Sanders, he has a track record of playing in the NFL. He's an all-star pro. He was the man, the guy, right? So he did a great job coaching in the HBCU, and then they wanted him in Colorado, and they got him, man, because he has a track record of success coaching. You don't have a track record of success coaching. You have a track record of putting out content that rips Democrats a new one. That's not the same thing, brother. You have never worked in this capacity. Why should anybody listen to you? And instead of coming across to somebody, hey, I got some stuff to offer, man, I got some ideas. Maybe you could think about them. I hope you will consider them. Here goes one. And then you get the idea. Not like, you need to listen to me because you don't know what you're doing and I know what you're doing. And you're a screw up and you're going to lose. You're a loser and your campaign sucks and you're blowing it and you're shooting yourself in your private parts. If you don't listen to me because I'm Jimmy Dore. And you also have you're the low vibrational, like you don't get it, the energy. You don't recognize that you're a white guy. I think you finished high school. I don't know. Talking to a guy with many degrees and a professor, and you're talking to him like he's stupid. That doesn't go over too well with folks. I mean, I guess it does. We can have a
Yeah, I mean, but I can also say on the same point that, you know, a regular educated person should be able to talk to a highly educated person like that, because usually highly educated people don't see what the basic educated people are living through. So, I mean, I could say the complete opposite. But
Yeah, I got criticized years ago for criticizing a professor, somebody with a PhD versus somebody with a BA. You know, like I got criticized. You know, just like, oh, you don't have as much education as this person here. And this professor at UNC Chapel Hill, who's not there anymore. He's kind of a well-known a leftist, made a politically he made a politically slanderous remark, not a slanderous remark. He made a historically inaccurate remark about the Socialist Party in a local paper, a local left-wing paper in Raleigh, that kind of upset me a great deal, and I complained about it. And this one guy got all self-righteous on me along the same lines too.
Mhm.
So it's like, if I'm right, you know, about something, doesn't matter how many goddamn degrees or how much more educated one person is than someone else. I mean, Ben Shapiro is probably more intelligent than me, but he's wrong on fucking everything. He's wrong. Every breath of air that comes out of his mouth is just shit.
Yep.
So
I completely agree. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've been belittled by academics alike of all ages, because they automatically assume that, you know, just because I'm a high school educated with some college, that I'm not smart enough to understand things. And I've proven them wrong too, in certain like small aspects as well. So, you know, Tim Black, you know, color aside, Tim Black saying that we need to automatically respect what Cornel West says because he has more degrees behind his back, I completely disagree with that. I absolutely disagree with that. If academics were really the people that could bond that bridge between not as educated as them and as educated as them, then we wouldn't be having this problem right now of like literally everybody living in their own little matrix bubble, especially the rich compared to the rest of us. Like, and then them not even realizing the things that we're going through, you know, wrong kinds of infrastructure, pocketing the subsidy money for themselves instead of actually helping the people. Like, academics are not any better and can understand things any better than us. They're in a bubble.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for holding it over there on Twitch. Like, that is all I see right now in the comments is Twitch. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, there's more Twitch people here than usual.
I know. I'm excited. I'm on the road to 100, so I'm stoked right now.
All right.
Okay, let's finish. Do you want to keep going, or we keep going?
I guess maybe a couple of more minutes.
You got it.
You blue collar guy like yourself talking to an Ivy League professional like, hey, you dumb. Hey, listen to me, dumb. Listen to me, boy. And you don't know that the racial dynamics either. Like, listen to me, boy. I know you got degrees, but you ain't nothing but an N-word with a degree, because listen to me, I'm Jimmy Dore. And I know you can say, I'll tell you this going too far. I'm telling you how it sounds to black people. Black people don't like it. We want you to respect our elders and treat them with a little bit of dignity. But see, you can't do that. Maybe you do it. Maybe you treat everyone this way. It seems like you do. But when you treat other people's people that other people respect with a lack of respect, people blame you for that. Okay, so that's number two.
Okay,
number three.
I want to say something about that. He's trying to insinuate that Jimmy Dore's racist. I don't know him personally. I met Steph in person, but I don't know. I don't really know him personally, obviously. But I don't believe that he has a racist bone in his body. I mean, you know, I don't believe that, and to insinuate that about Jimmy Dore, that's a little bit outrageous. And that's probably the downside right there to identity politics. And it's not just on the liberal left side. I get that a little bit out of white folks on the conservative side. If a black conservative is saying something and I disagree with, let's say, Candace Owens, they're like, well, you're racist because you disagree with Candace Owens. I was like, I don't disagree with Candace Owens because she's African American. I disagree with Candace Owens because she's Candace Owens. Has nothing to do, you know, with her being African American, you know?
Right. And I think that the argument between those two was more anecdotal evidence based, like Jimmy's lived his own experience life, and so has Cornel West. So they're basing their politics and their issues off of their own experience. We talked about this last week. I'm the same way. Everybody's the same way. Everybody has their pet favorites, their favorite things that they really, really care about when it comes to issues in society and things that need to be fixed and stuff. So I don't see Jimmy Dore as racist, but I also, at the same time, do know that every single white person, including Jimmy Dore himself, because he said it himself in a video that I saw earlier today, that we as white people have racial blind spots. Abso-fucking-lutely. We all do. I will admit to it. I'm pretty sure if you're a white person and you can't admit to having some sort of blind spots, then you're fucking dumb. Like, that's stupid, because all of us do. And even Jimmy Dore admitted to it to himself. So that automatically, like that doesn't make a person a racist. That just means that they don't understand that there's racial blind spots there, and they, need to be told that. But I don't think that argument had to do with anything racial. I think that it was just anecdotal evidence debating and arguing. And seems like Tim Black, and I don't know whoever else is saying that this is a racist thing, is just insinuating it based off of how much they probably don't like Jimmy Dore.
Yeah, it's really what it comes down to. He has Jimmy Dore derangement syndrome, so he's going to project that because he has some beef with Jimmy Dore that he didn't have at one time, and everybody. I don't care where you're from, who you are, what ethnicity you belong to, what race you belong to, what religion or non-religion you belong to, your sexual orientation. Everybody has some kind of hang up that is, is up to them to try to overcome, and I mean, it's humanity's flaw.
Yep.
So everybody has that blind spot. I think everybody in humanity has it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yep. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Biggest problem with Dr. Cornel West, you never call him doctor, by the way, which is a problem. The biggest problem with Dr. West is he won't say Biden is the worst. I agree in a way. Look, I think both parties suck. I've never wanted both. Look, my whole purpose of doing content is saying both these parties are horrible and black people need to get something for their votes. I believe that Dr. West, in my opinion, if he asked me, I would say, hey, man, call both of them fascists and keep it moving. But I disagree with you making it a sticking issue that had to become something that you needed to win him over. Like, you got to make him come to your side and see his senses and wake up and realize Jimmy's right and this is that and Ajamu's right and these people are right and all this stuff. And I'm like, dog, Dr. West is running his own campaign. He's running. This is his legacy. Maybe he just don't agree. Maybe he really feels that Trump is the worst person in politics that he's ever experienced in the United States. Maybe he feels that way. It's going to be up to him to make a decision different than that. You should respect that man's position. Not browbeat him, not call him a loser, not make it a humongous issue. Just say, hey, man, please consider it. Think about it. Think about the ramifications of it. Think about the effects of it on your campaign. I love you. I got your back. Let's move on to the next point. You could have done that. But see, that's what us human beings have to do. We're not all powerful. We don't have 1 million subs and have people kissing their ass and pretending they're right, even when they're wrong. Like you are. You're wrong. Next. Cornel keeps talking about LGBT trans. He don't need to do that identity politics. Listen, man, once again, as a person that makes content for the black community, because that's where I've been. I didn't drop off the face of the earth. I didn't die in a fishing expedition gone wrong or a police encounter gone right or wrong, depending on how you feel about me. I'm still here and I still make content. I just make it for black folks. No one's seen me on the left because you don't care about black content or black politics. Okay, so you don't watch that. But a lot of black folks feel that Dr. West needs to stop saying black people are the LGBTQ because they want their issues separate. They don't agree with you, Jimmy, that you should not say black. They want them to say black. They just want black and LGBTQ and all these other groups to have their own space. Black people want to be treated separately because they want their issues considered on their own merits because they feel that their issues are unique to their own experience and what they've gone through in this country. And I think black folks deserve that. And I respect that critique. And that is something that I would suggest, or you could suggest to Dr. West, but that ain't what you're suggesting. You're suggesting Dr. West don't need to talk about any of that. And I disagree with you, and I disagree with Nick Bronner, and all of the MPP or People's Party nonsense that tries to act like we're in a colorblind society when we're not. Listening to you, Dr. West will be the first black candidate to never get black votes. He'll do
Oh,
worse than Cory Booker if he follows your advice.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Strangely enough, I used to be indifferent, not against it. I used to be indifferent toward reparations, but I signed on board with reparations because, believe it or not, Tim Black actually convinced me it was a good idea, and he gave a class reductionist argument for it because it provides an equal playing field right there. It puts us on that road toward a racially colorblind society. It would actually put us where we need to go. That's the only way I think we'll get to where we need to go and solve the race problem ultimately. That's kind of the way I see it. So, and I do thank Tim Black on that question. But again, to sit there and to insinuate that to project racism in what Jimmy Dore has to say. Now, he did say in the video that he thinks Jimmy Dore is arrogant. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say that a lot of these content makers can be at times. But, he's got a beef with Jimmy Dore. And I think it's also an opportunity, just like, I mean, I guess we're sort of repeating ourselves, but that's sort of what it comes down to ultimately.
Right. And Harsh says that part of his little thing right there was kind of right, which, yes, I do agree. Like the Black people's issues need to be separated than like LGBTQ because the suffering has been completely different and needs its own special thing. I absolutely agree with that part.
Yeah. So,
it was bad.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, we probably about 2 or 3 more minutes, and we can probably go on to the next subject.
You got it.
It's Kamala Harris if he listens to you, because black people may be willing to accept some of them that Bernie Sanders has a problem saying black. They'll never accept it out of Dr. Cornel West. They'll call him a sellout in the turncoat. You wouldn't know that. And you're so arrogant, I bet you won't even listen to me say it, even though I'm saying it out of my black mouth into this black mic through these black speakers on this black channel. You'll still doubt it. Why? Arrogance and white supremacy. Moving on. And that's my same thing about identity politics. Identity politics, white supremacy. You don't know what black people don't know what white people hear. When black people say white supremacy, they think you're calling me racist. Yeah, a lot of white people are racist, Jimmy. A lot of them, a whole lot of them are racist. I'm not even convinced that you're not racist, Jimmy. I believe that you have stereotypes and biases about black people. Yeah, I think you do. I think you think that I know that you're arrogant. I don't know if you reserve that only for me or if you're arrogant with everybody, but yeah, I know that you are. You do have a problem with race, and a lot of white people do have a problem with it, and it doesn't mean a black person can't talk about race in your presence. Dr. Cornel West has a book called Race Matters. So when they say, hey, Dr. West, what book did you put out? He's supposed to say, nothing matters? Because he don't want to offend white people. Oh my God, he said race. He's talking about me. Now, the white people that feel a certain kind of way about Dr. West addressing race or white supremacy are the same white people who wouldn't vote for him anyway. Because they're going to look into his background to see he's talked about these things. We already know a lot of white people have written me. They've written me and told me, Tim, a lot of white people are going to be afraid of Dr. Cornel West because they're going to think he's going to help black people. And these are white people who wrote me this. Those are actual white allies. And guess what? That's the risk you run being black. That's why I lost a lot of lefty support, because I'm standing up for black people, and a lot of lefties and progressives don't want to hear it either. And I know some conservatives don't want to hear it either, but guess what? Some did, and that's what we got to count on. Dr. West is not listening to you because you are wrong. He cannot disguise who he is, nor should he try to modify that, okay? You got to call out white supremacy. You got to call out issues as you see them. That's part of the reason why you run, Jimmy. Leave it up to you. You run and win and accomplish nothing but ass kissing just for the sake of winning. And that's not the way the black folks that I represent roll. We don't just do this for ourselves and just to win, right? And Dr. West is of the black tradition of speaking truth to power. You don't want him, you're trying to neuter his speaking truth to power to tell him he needs to temper that for the people in the room in case they get offended, and we ain't got time for that. Say what you're going to say and then explain to them as they make objections.
It's lost all meaning. So that was my point.
Are we good now?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, because I think we've seen the Jim. I think a lot of us have seen the Jimmy Dore response to his own interview with Cornell West. So
Yeah.
I think that the gist of it is Tim Black's take on it. And I think we pretty much seen most of it.
Yeah,
And
no, I'm good. I totally did not pay attention to that last minute. That went in ear one out the other. So,
well, here's the thing about Cornell West. Dr. Cornell West, just in case Tim Black is watching. Um, I mean, I support him obviously for president. Only thing is, I'm thinking I may have to delay contributing to his campaign just in case the conspiracy theory with Peter Dow running his campaign convinced him to drop out to endorse Biden. I would have a problem with that. I definitely would have a problem with that. So, and they were talking about that a lot on Heartland's Media, and I said that I'm just not going to do what I did with Bernie, giving him hundreds of dollars. I gave Bernie probably up to $5,000 in since the 1990s over the years. I mean, and I'm never going to do that for any politician again. We'll never do that for any politician, not even for Bernie. Yeah. So I may delay until I know that he's in it to for election day, like in the late summer or something. Then I'll donate. But right now, if he drops out, I don't want to donate and be out of my money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. Smeghead is going to get out of here. So say goodbye to Smeghead. Thank you for watching us and have a good night.
All right. Take care, Smeghead.
All right. So next one is mine. So we're pretty much just going to rewatch the video that we've all seen running the loops on Twitter. It's definitely gone viral. And we'll watch this one. We'll talk about it. And then there also came another one this morning of somebody else's or same different person. But so this week, a man named Tim Gurner was interviewed about employment and the economy and all that stuff. Sherry, you're going to absolutely love this. So excited. I can't wait to see what you have to say about this. So we'll watch the first video, we'll talk about it, and then there's also a newer one as well.
I think the problem that we've had is that we have people decided they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. Tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years. And we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50%, in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. And there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through supporting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment, get that some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are definitely laying people off, and they're starting to see less arrogance in the employment market. And that has to continue. That will cascade across the country.
Wow, it's insane.
Yeah, this whole mindset of and I remember during the pandemic this mindset of, well, people don't want to work anymore. It's just kind of like it's crazy. It's like people are supposed to be content with a work environment where they're constantly abused, and the whole idea of workers' rights is offensive to these people. I mean, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Any concept of workers' rights.
Like the arrogance in the employment market, like as if like, okay, so employees, the people who are actually making the products and producing for you, we're not allowed to be a little bit arrogant about maybe actually, you know, making a little bit more money. This is, you know, they're the only ones that can be the arrogant ones because they're the ones that get all the profit and everything like that. So, which I wrote this on Twitter this week. If you ask anyone who really understands how the economy works, this is not how the economy works. Production is tied to labor. If we do not produce, we don't have anything to sell. How is making more people unemployed the answer? The answer is to give people more money in their paychecks and also employ more people. We need to produce more. That the answer for inflation and stuff is not to take more employment away. It's so crazy to me to watch this and understand how the economy works and then think that there's people that are watching this that are saying this is absolutely correct. Makes no fucking sense to me. And I'm
No,
just
I
a
mean,
regular person.
it's like they want to go backwards. I mean, certain states in this country, I don't want to make it a red blue state thing, but certain red states are easing child labor to exploit younger people to go back to work. Yeah, and that's just as evil as these same people are the ones that they think that anybody who disagrees with them are QAnon related. I'll put it that way. But they're exploiting kids too in their own way, you know, which is equally as evil.
Yeah, exactly, Rivethead. Absolutely agree. And that's even like part of like what the second video that I want to show you about is like there's the CNN woman asking the CEO of General Motors, I believe it is, GM, about why she makes so much money and the people are making less. I love this because it's kind of a continuation of what this guy was talking about. And it just kind of sets in stone of like, these people are just trash and we need to just keep fighting back and unionizing. So here's the second video.
The union is asking for a 40% wage increase over 4 years. They're asking for that in part because they say CEOs like yourself, leading the big three, are making those kind of pay increases over the course of the last 4 years. You've seen a 34% pay increase in your salary. You make almost $30 million. Why should your workers not get the same type of pay increases that you're getting leading the company?
Well, if you look at compensation, my compensation, 92% of it is based on performance of the company. I think one of the strong aspects of the way our compensation—
You hear that really quick. She says 92% of her compensation is based off of the performance of the company. So her $30 million every fucking year is based off of how much her workers can work.
Yeah.
Burner at the stake.
People.
Done.
Yeah. Arrogance of these people.
Employees is designed is not only are we putting a 20% increase on the table, we have profit sharing. So when the company does well, everyone does well. And for the last several years,
profit sharing, you hear that? So when the company does well, everyone does well, except the fact that she omitted the part that everyone means shareholders. That's the people that are in her board, not the employees, her board.
And that's the only ones they're concerned with, what have you. I'm not going to say where I work because the company I work for is owned by the previous company that I used to work for. And during COVID, we had a bonus pay, and the CEO of the company, of the parent company, wanted that money back, and they got some bad publicity for it, and they were kind of okay, all right. They kind of lay off on that issue. So I know how. I mean, the mindset he has just reminded me of that. So
I hate the way that she thinks. Like, she thinks that the people, like, she's doing some good in the world or something, that she deserves this much pay and her workers don't. Like, she's like saving the world. Like, bitch, you're making cars. Wow, you're so fucking cool. Shit drives me crazy.
It's resulted in record profit sharing for our represented employees. And I think you have to look at the whole compensation package, not only 20% increase in gross wage, but also the profit sharing aspect of it. world-class healthcare, and there's several other features. So
she's all, don't worry that we're only giving them a 20% raise of their bare minimum wages. We've got great health care. And then she probably wanted to say we give a hell of a fucking pizza party too.
They like to, you got to worry about a company that would do that, because that's their way of trying to quiet down the people, saying, oh, we're fun. I mean, I love pizza. New York or Chicago pizza equally. Right. But for those that may come over here to watch our show, but
yeah, she's like, we only need to raise their minimum wage by 20%, which I think is like a quarter or something above what they were already getting per hour. And she's like, but they don't need anything else because, we give them work-based healthcare. That doesn't include like healthcare for the rest of their lives if they lose that fucking job, if they get laid off, because of a lot of people are laying people off right now. So that doesn't include if the employer gets laid off. It's great healthcare if you're in the job. And like I said, also pizza parties or whatever else is gonna, make this Mary lady think that, my employees are happy because I'm giving them, I don't know, like a $100 gift card to Applebee's in December.
a lot of people thought that Donald Trump was so great because of those tax cuts. How original. Tax cuts for the wealthy. And you know what those tax cuts did? GM during the Trump presidency, this is not related to COVID, laid off 14,000 workers after they got a tax cut. GM got a tax cut, and they laid off 14,000 workers in several states. And it's like, oh, gee, thank you, Donald Trump. You gave General Motors more money, and then they go and still lay more people off.
Yep. Because obviously from the last video, apparently making more money means that you need to lay more people off. So that's the answer.
We have a very competitive offer on the table, and that's why we want to get back there and get this done. But if you're getting a 34% pay increase over 4 years and you're offering 20% to employees right now, do you think that's fair? Well, I think when you look at the overall structure and the fact that 92% is based on performance, and you look at what we've been doing of sharing in the profitability when the company does well, I think we've got a very compelling offer on the table, and that's the focus I have right now.
Compelling. She said it's a very compelling and competitive offer. The fact that her employees are overproducing, but all of the profit is going to the top shareholders. I don't understand how that's competitive and compelling to
doesn't
join.
add up to me.
No. I mean, it would be very compelling and join if you were a shareholder and looking for another company to buy into so you can make some more profit. But if you're a regular person, which is, what is it, 98% of this fucking, the 99% of this country, we're not going to look at it like that. That's not great for us. I'm sorry, but yeah. There we go with that. So yeah, that's all I got for that one. I'm just depressed about that, and it's disgusting, and it grosses me out, and it really irritates me because I wish regular people can see through this facade. And I know all of you guys in the audience and everybody else that we know already sees through the facade, but like, I just don't understand how these people are offered platforms to be able to speak this and without a fight put up or anything like that. Like, this lady gave a little bit of a fight, but not too fucking much. She still gave in. So it makes me mad that this is the world that we live in, and these people can go around and say this kind of stuff about us.
Yeah, I remember the last job I had was unionized, and I was 20 years with the company that I worked for. And every time we had a negotiation, I dreaded it because we gave back just a little more to the company. But there was one period, 2006, where there was a communication breakdown, and it was over healthcare. That was the line to be drawn. And there was a threat of a strike, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna go on strike!" I just rolled my eyes. I looked at these folks. I was like, "Y'all are from North Carolina. Y'all not gonna go on strike." I'm not even prepared to go on strike, but I would because it's the right thing to do. But I know how people are down here in the South. I mean, if you're lucky, we're lucky to have a unionized work environment, but it's weak because the labor laws are weak here in North Carolina. So, but nobody's going to go on strike because people are going to break through the picket line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we should go with the next story.
What you got for me?
And that's the story about the band. I'm sorry Smeghead's gone because I think he would enjoy the story. The band X planning to sue Elon Musk.
All
Yeah.
right. Here we go.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, it's on my side, so I guess I can read it on my side over here. Okay. This is from Los Angeles Magazine, and it's from July 28th of this year. It still belongs to us. LA punk band X on Elon Musk's Twitter rebrand, says co-founder John Doe. Maybe we should sue. And I think he should. The quips about the long-running LA punk band changing its name to Twitter, starting almost immediately after Elon Musk announced plans to rebrand the social media site he acquired for a cool $44 billion last October. Big fan of the new Twitter logo at Elon Musk. Hashtag X, hashtag punk rock 1977. The group tweeted over a vintage photo of a total 500,000 views and climbing, following up a press release to address confusion, claiming, "We would like to assure everyone that Twitter is not us and we're not of it." To misquote David Bowie, it's not who does it second, it's who did it first. We are still recording and touring and have no plans on social media domination anytime soon. Let's see. Indeed, the band's singer-songwriter, bassist, co-founder John Doe is speaking for Los Angeles by phone en route of Austin to Santa Fe, then back to Orange County Fair for tour dates with the rest of the original members, none of whom go by their birth names. Vocalist Exene Cervenka, guitarist Billy Zoom, and drummer DJ Bonebreak. When Exene first came up with the band name, it was the last thing people wanted to be associated with. Left the man born John Nomenem Dushik. It was dirty movies, poison on the label, on all wars and weird stuff. X Games. We all agree it was a great name, and now this. Someone said maybe he'll change to Elon Doe. X is negative, as in negative space. Acknowledge Doe. You can place it on anything you want. It means anything. It was also a reaction to all those with the in their names, The Clash, The Jam, The Sex Pistols. When he first heard of the Musk plans, Doe admitted, "I rolled my eyes. I'm sure nobody in his sphere has a clue that this punk band that's been around some 40 years even exists, and still probably don't. I love it if they try to sue us or something. That would be a riot. Or maybe we should sue them. Has this band even thought about it? Absolutely not. I wouldn't waste my time. Who wants to consume your life with something pointless?" He shrugs. It's like John Sobel had the song "I Kiss a Girl," Jill Sobel, "I Kiss a Girl," and then Katy Perry came out with a different track with the same title, and Jill had all the people streaming for her song by mistake. The band released a spirited comeback album, Alpha Beta Land, in 2020, their first in 27 years since 1993, Jesus, and are currently at work recording a follow-up, Smoke and Fiction, which Doe calls a more stressed out. We're going to try to open things up a little bit. With the side project Joe Trio of I'm sorry, I'm getting my tongue twisted. With the side project John Doe Trio scheduled for an appearance at this year's Harley Strictly Bluegrass Music Festival at San Francisco Golden Gate Park, as well as several acting gigs. The longtime performer admits he's learning to say no as he's busier than ever. As for X incredible 46-year run, Doe said, "It's what we do. It's our livelihood, and I guess we like each other. It's a family with all that it entails." And while there's been no contact at all with Elon Musk or any of his people, Doe is ask what message he will like the Mercurial Tech Mongol. I'm glad you picked the best letter because that's why we chose it, but it still belongs to us and the world. That's pretty much it.
All right. So they're not going to sue him, but they are
Yeah.
definitely gonna take the clout from it, which is good for them.
Well, I think they should sue him because I mean, I think it's dumb that I still call it Twitter. I'm not going to call it X.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I say Twitter, and I will not call it. I will not address it officially as X. And as I said, I am a fan of the band X. I don't like Billy Zoom. He's an asshole, but he dropped me on Facebook because he didn't like my politics. But I still respect the band and for what they've done over the years. But I do think that I would support their right to sue the hell out of Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a hell of a lot worse than the individual that doesn't like me and X.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be a waste of time to sit there and try to sue one of the most richest people alive. I think them clout chasing off of it is probably their best bet.
Yeah. Well, I like making rich people feel uncomfortable.
That's true too. Very, very true. But it's so hard though to be able to claim that though, because it's literally just a letter in the alphabet.
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard.
And that's true as well. I mean, I guess I don't think they would do it, but I guess the family of Malcolm X could say the same thing about the band. Using the name X. I was like, why are you using the name X? And I guess X is used in a lot of reference. It just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I mean, nobody calls it X at all. We're still calling it Twitter to this day.
Do you remember when Elon Musk took the logo off and he put the silly dog up there for a while?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
I know. That's what happens when you let a troll buy things that they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Elon Musk is proof that just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean that you're a smart, astute businessman. Because I think that Twitter is suffering economically.
Right.
Which I use Twitter all the time. I use it a little more than Facebook now, but I'm glad they're hemorrhaging considering what Elon Musk done to it.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly less free speech now than it was before he took it over. And it wasn't that great before he took it over, but it's less of it now.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, I don't really use Twitter too much. I feel like it's like less censored, but that just means that all the shitty people are starting to be able to talk more. So my newsfeed is just trash now. So
it's free speech for right-wing assholes, but they actually target the left. Right. And I told people that I was one of the people that voted to allow Donald Trump back on Twitter. Now, free speech doesn't mean bring Trump back on Twitter, but ban the left. But that's exactly what's happened.
Mm-hmm. I love that. The Roman's about to sue everyone. I'm here for it. I'm so fucking here for it. Yeah. Oh, genius. All right. So I guess I'm next up on the chopping block, huh?
All right. Yeah. Go with the next story.
All right. So some video this week got leaked of a police officer. I think he was like a vice president of some kind of like police officer, some police officer club thing. But some what do you call it? Like a whistleblower ended up releasing and leaking this video out of this Seattle police officer who laughed while explaining about a young woman, a college student being ran over and killed by another police officer. So we'll watch the original video. I want you guys to trigger warning. It's pretty mean and brutal the way that he talks about this girl. So If you guys get triggered with that, just know that it's in here.
I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield, and when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead. No, it's a regular person. Yeah, just write a check. Just yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
So that's just like like unedited, straight, shared body cam footage of it. So here's Law and Crime talking about this situation.
Shocking comments now coming to light after a Seattle police officer is caught on body camera video laughing and joking about a woman who was killed by another officer. She can be heard on camera saying she has limited value.
Yeah, just write a check. $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
Back in January, 23-year-old Shivani Kandula, an exchange student studying at Northeastern University, was killed when Seattle officer Kevin Dave hit her as she crossed the street. At the time, Dave was heading to a high-priority call, driving 74 miles per hour in a 25 zone. That same evening, Officer Daniel Arderer also arrived to the scene to conduct a drug recognition test on Dave as part of department policy. Arderer did not suspect any impairment on Dave's part. The following day, body camera video captured Arderer on a phone call discussing the incident.
All right, brother. I'm sure ECIS is. And oh, he's good. He says, well, normally we don't give voluntary statements. And I said, hey, you're going to have to decide if you wanted to give a statement or not. But it does not seem like there's a criminal investigation going on.
As vice president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild, Arderer was apparently calling the guild's president, Mike Tolan. Local news outlets report Arderer's body camera video was inadvertently turned on.
Otherwise, there would be other. What's that? Otherwise, there might be other people arriving, correct?
Arderer can be heard mentioning Dave's speed, saying he was traveling 50 miles per hour at the time of the crash. Later reports determined he was driving more than 70 miles per hour.
He's going 50. That's not out of control. That's not reckless for a trained driver.
After this, body camera video captures Arderer mentioning logistics about the crash.
Initially, he said she was in a crosswalk. There's a witness that says no, she wasn't. But that witness could be different because I don't think she was thrown 40 feet either.
Then he describes what happened to Kandula before laughing when he says she's dead.
I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield. Then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead.
He then refers to the 23-year-old as a, quote, regular person who had limited value.
No, it's a regular person. Yeah, just write a check. Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
At that point, Arderer seems to realize the body camera is on and he turns it off. This week, the Seattle Police Department released the body camera recording with an accompanying statement saying the video was, quote, identified in the routine course of business by a department employee who, concerned about the nature of statements heard on that video, appropriately escalated their concerns through their chain of command. It's since been referred to the Office of Police Accountability for an investigation. But according to a report from Seattle radio station KTTH, it was Arderer himself who reported the video. According to a report posted on Monday, Arderer turned himself in for, quote, fears of out-of-context sneers. That same report states that Arderer's comments about Kandula's limited value and writing a check were actually made in an effort to mock lawyers.
Yeah, just write a check. $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
As the investigation into the body camera video continues, Seattle police note they have been in contact with Kandula's family and ask that others respect their privacy during this difficult time.
That shit's crazy to me, how he's trying to like play it off and save face, like typical fucking dude. Like, I'm gonna pretend, I'm gonna turn myself in now with this situation and pretend like I'm the good guy, and I was doing it to make fun of lawyers when I was talking about the life of this living human, this human being. But okay, good way to save face.
Yeah, I just think that's horrible. And just this is the kind of thing that creates resentment against law enforcement with this mentality. I mean, in society, I mean, I presume that the person that was hit, I'm going to presume she's Hispanic. I don't know if he meant this racially. I don't know what context, or if he's just being a douchebag about people in general. I don't know. But the fact that he said what he says, I mean, and I don't believe in cancel culture, but I do think that he should be disciplined for what he said. I mean, that's just, I mean, that sort of thing. If you're trying to have a law enforcement that's supposed to be proactive and serve a positive function in society, you just can't have people like that with that mindset representing law enforcement.
Yeah. Just keep that in your guys' head right now. The fact that he turned himself in and that he was saying it against the cops, trying to save face right now, because he was afraid of the backlash from people and the smear campaign that he was going to get. But this gets a lot worse than just that. This person, Chuds of TikTok, decided to pull out and do an entire investigation of what this man right here has actually done in the history of his career as a police officer. So the Seattle police officer, Daniel Arterer, that laughed and joked about Giovanni's death after being hit by a police cruiser, has an insane misconduct record with 29. Let me repeat that, 29 total incidents, okay? These are just the bullet points of a few of them. First one, he was one of more than a dozen officers that savagely beat Brian Torgensen, a mentally ill man, causing permanent brain damage in 2010. There's one. Number two, he was investigated in 2016 for using force against a woman while she was handcuffed, which is prohibited by Seattle Police Department policy unless exceptional circumstances. The force, which occurred conveniently off camera, was considered after the investigation lawful and proper. So this woman got sexually harassed by this police officer and didn't get believed. Number three, he punched and choked a homeless man inside of the emergency room at a hospital in 2015, even though the police department force review board ruled that the force was unjustified. OPA ultimately cleared him of wrongdoing. Typical police behavior. They say they get in trouble, and then nothing happens. They clear him of all of this. Next one, he was issued a training referral after allegedly SHing a woman in a holding cell in 2015. So he actually had a referral to go and do police department training all over again because of something that he did wrong to a woman who was already in a holding cell in probably the local county jail in 2015. Not even done yet. Still got two more in 2016. He punched a female bystander in the face for interfering with an arrest. Obviously, that means that if he's married or even has a girlfriend, run away as fast as you can now, because I'm pretty sure he's a fucking wife beater. All right. Very last one. He was suspended for 4 days after taking part in the arrest of a person while off duty on a ride along with his brother, who is also an officer in another jurisdiction, during which he violated the person's Miranda rights and failed to report the arrest to a supervisor. That is kidnapping. He kidnapped somebody. Okay, I'm just letting you guys know. This is this guy's history, but he wants us to think that him turning himself in and putting the video in because he's afraid of the backlash that he's going to get and the smearing that he's going to get is like anything. I mean, compared to what he's already done. What he said in the video was bad, but this is just absolute history of everything, of just a small number of everything that he's done and has gotten away with over the last 10 years. And we're just now seeing this one. Like, this guy needs to go to jail. He needs to be locked up for a very, 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 very long time for this. It's disgusting. Exactly, Sherry. We want to sit here and let Nikki Haley call fucking Putin a thug, but this guy's respected and thanked for his service. Nah, that's a fucking thug right there. And I don't even like using the word thug because that just means it's a bad word, and there's nothing really wrong with being a thug. Thugs are cool, but he's a fucking horrible man. He's disgusting.
He's a horrible human being, and unfortunately, there's too much. They tolerate too many people like this in this profession. And
Right.
Just the fact that people like this are walking. I mean, it doesn't tell him how many other incidents he's been involved with that's not been reported.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, there's 29 total incidences. This is a bullet point of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them out of 29. I couldn't even imagine what the rest of them are. Probably more repeats of this and additions of new things that we haven't even thought of yet. This guy's just a fucking terror, and he's an egotistical at that as well. Like, the fact that he just hit a woman in the face because she interfered with an arrest. Like, to me, when I read that, I was like, oh man, whoever's married to him needs to go. Like, I'm pretty sure he's beating up everybody in his fucking household. This is bullshit. And they just get away with it too.
Yeah, and she criticized them. Some people will be like, well, you got something against law enforcement? I mean, I remember with the Rodney King beating back in 1991. There were people out there. It was caught on camera what happened, and there were still people out there. It's like, well, if we go after those cops, that means we're just going to go and declare war on all cops. I said, no, you're not declaring war on all cops. You're declaring war on cops not doing their job. Those individual cops, and I was like, how would you like it if you were a victim of the police doing this sort of thing to you?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I remember when I was in college, I mean, the police were, a lot of the police were horrible. They were horrible toward the students. I mean, when it was 2:00 in the morning and the bars were closing, I mean, they literally sometimes they just toss some pepper spray out into some areas, and people were like coughing to get out of the bars. I'm not kidding you.
Yep. I could believe that. I mean, I started going to bars in the mid 2000s, but there were definitely nights or the next mornings where there was leftovers of pepper spray everywhere, like from the police. It's still crazy like that. The police force is just a horrible place. They're very, especially out here. I live in LA County. Well, I've grown up in LA County, so I've seen like the worst of the worst. There's even like a secret club that these police officers out here have, and they're like a skinhead police group, and I've seen the police force, the police officers hanging out in like white supremacist areas and chilling with them, and I've had perverted police officers come inside my bar and try to hit on the girls and stuff like that. Like, they're not great. They're not great at all.
Yeah. And they're tarnishing their image. This is why a lot of people resent the police right now in this country because of this, and large part of it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, ready to get on to the next one? I already have it pulled up, so go ahead and start talking about it, and I'll bring it up.
Oh, okay. The next one, let's see. The next one is, it's the Amazing Atheist, and he's talking about the white supremacist Nick Fuentes, claiming how much he hates the poor. And it's a Kyle Kalinske video, so it's him commenting on a Kyle Kalinske video, commenting on Nick Fuentes, who's like a major figure on the alt-right. I think everybody knows who Nick Fuentes is. So I think that we should go ahead and play that video, and it's fairly short, so it's like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuentes video. and I don't know how. I couldn't find the clip on its own, so we're gonna watch Kyle watch it. But the reason I'm reluctant to even get into this is because like Nick Fuentes just seems like he just says to people off. Now I know that behind his like troll veneer, there is like probably some kind of really virulent right-wing super Nazi figure. But when someone just clearly is constantly trying to say to trigger people, and you can tell that they're trying to trigger people, for me, it always makes me way less triggered because it's like, you're just trying to be a shocking dude. But whatever, we'll see. This is Nick Fuentes saying, I hate poor people. Let's find out.
I always find it amazing how prominent people on the right.
Of course, we're going to watch Kyle
gain supporters.
See how he does it.
You know, after a while, they can only act for so long. After a while, their true opinions come out. And by the way, I would have said in 2016, when you talk about a lot of these figures and people say, oh, they're not, I'd be like, they're being hyper. They might be hyper conservative, but they're not Nazis. Nazi is next level. Well, it turns out with many of them, no, they literally were not. Richard Spencer was a Nazi. Milo Yiannopoulos was a Nazi. This is all proven because their internal text messages and conversations leak. And we know what they're saying when they think the cameras are not on. Well, Nick Fuentes also is a Nazi. And by the way, this is somebody Kanye West fell for his line of bullshit. But, you know, the argument we've heard for so long now, oh my God, there's some populists on the right. They're, you know, maybe there's some sort of an alliance that can be made. The truth comes out after a while, right? And now you're going to see what at least Nick Fuentes, and many of these other people as well, what they really think about, you know, working people and poor people.
I mean, so right now, the way it was set up was kind of like, oh, you're going to find out what he really thinks about working people behind the scenes. But like, I can see that this is his show. Like, this is on Nick Fuentes' show. So I don't know how like behind the scenes or like, oh, his real opinion slipped out. Like, this seems to just be him on his show. I think that the rhetoric has just gotten to that point, you know? I think that's more what's going on.
People of this country are furious. They don't like my hatred for the poor. They don't like that, and I don't know why.
No, I was muted. Okay, so I have to agree with the chat really quick. This is so meta right now. Like, this is a react to a react to a react to a react. Like, this is over the top, really. I just had to throw that in really quick. This is wild.
Well, the thing about Nick Fuentes is that that the anti-Hispanic sentiment among white nationalists. I mean, I believe he's half Mexican, and so you know, he is Hispanic, and so the fact that, you know, why on earth would he embrace this ideology, considering what would happen to? I mean, I'm assuming that the Hispanic parent looks like probably a little more white in the population, but still, why would you join a movement considering that you have people that actually wants to invade Mexico? You have people that wants to go and actually put people in detention camps from both parties, Trump and Obama and Biden. They all did. I mean, you know, just anyway, but the fact that he's honest about his right-wing ideology, that he hates the poor.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna have to hear what this Nick guy is saying. I just had to throw that out there because I would not be able to listen to the rest of this little show right here and hear what they have to say until I said how meta this really is, because this is literally like reacting to a reaction to a reaction to a reaction. This is fucking wild to me. I feel like I'm in the Matrix. All right. I want to back it up to where he starts talking. Should be like right about here.
People of this country are furious. They don't like my hatred for the poor. They don't like that, and I don't know why. I don't get it. But I don't care, because I do hate the poor, and I hate poor people, and I hate poverty, and I'm sick of lying about it. I'm not going to pretend that I don't. Okay. I love the rich. I don't have any animosity for the rich men of America. Okay. I want to be one.
I mean, like, I could kind of see what Kyle's talking about at this point, because this just undercuts so much of the rhetoric that has been coming out of the right for so long now, which is like, we're the party of the working class. We're the party of the working poor. We're the party against the elites, you know. And I know that Nick Fuentes is, you know, to the right even of mainstream Republicans, or at least presents himself as such. So maybe he can have this different, more fringe position. But like, this is a group of people who were just sucking the dick of that Rich Men North of Richmond song, because they're like, finally someone's telling the good old goddamn truth in this song. And then here comes Nick Fuentes to be like, nope, that's not how I feel at all. I hate the poor. I love the rich. I want to be rich. I love rich men. They're just the best. Poor people suck. I hate them.
No, Warren, we actually have these two on the channel right now. They're here live. I just can pause them whenever I want.
They're lazy. They're dumb. I want to be rich. I admire wealth. I worship at the altar of money. By the way, isn't this dude supposed to be a Catholic? Isn't this dude supposed to be like some form of Christian? Like, doesn't he know what Jesus preached about this stuff? Because Jesus was one of the most virulent anti-wealth preachers you could ever imagine. Jesus literally said that the wealthy should give away all of their possessions to the poor on October 6th.
Okay, really quick. Yes, he is absolutely making a point. The religious teachings of, like, you know, real, like, if, you know, Christians actually really listen to the religion, then they would be, you know, helping the poor and blah, blah, blah. But do you expect any different than conservatives hating the poor? I mean, if you guys know like a single libertarian or Republican and you have gone to like a fast food place where there's like a poor person there, they're gonna be rude. Like, they don't like they're all that's like been a well-known hypocrisy for a while now, right? That they say that they're here for the poor, but they actually love the rich because they, like I've said before, they're, you know, every conservative, every American pretty much, but mostly conservatives are temporarily embarrassed millionaires. They think that they were once millionaires and they can get there again, and so they love rich people because they think they're going to get there one day. So I don't understand why he's making good points, but I'm waiting for that point to come about. Like, well, this is something we've known.
I think that this mentality really has been around. It's been around a long time, but it's really kicked in under Reagan, because I would say that prior to Ronald Reagan, while the Republican Party's never really been a party that appealed to me, I believe in that. I think both parties are horrible, but I do still think that the Republican Party is just a little bit worse. Which you know, right. The point that I'm trying to make is that Reagan sort of indoctrinated this ideology, whether they're rhino Republicans who are cool with abortion and gay marriage. They do exist in the Republican Party. They still say fuck the poor. Or whether they're like right wing and you know, just hating on everybody with the bigotry and all of that. They have animosity toward the poor. There's just, but they'll sit there and then they say, well, we're for the little guy. Well, they're saying that what they're for the white middle class people who are bordering on being millionaires, but that's probably their version of being for the little guy.
Right. Yeah, no, it's all over the place. I remember a few years ago, I was really into trying to help feed, at least, you know, like by like twice, 3 times a week, trying to feed and give some stuff to like the homeless in my hometown out in like Lancaster, Palmdale area in California. And I remember posting something on Facebook about how, like, they're all been congregated at the park right next to the main street. We need to help them out. They need a lot of help. And there were like people that I went to high school with, like girls and stuff, and guys that are my age, in my comments section saying we need to move them away. They're making the area look disgusting. I don't want to bring my kids there anymore because they're there. Like that's people my age that are saying that stuff that I grew up with. Like, so I always thought like maybe it was like an older generation kind of thing, but even people in my age and younger are still even thinking the same thing. And it's all conservatives. I mean, I don't think I know a liberal, maybe one or two out where I used to live. So they're all conservative, and that's just how they think. Like, if you know a conservative, then you know that this is their thought process. Like, this is just how they think.
Now, I hate poverty, but I don't hate the poor. I want the poor out of poverty, and I think the socialism is the way forward. To bring everybody out of poverty.
Yep. And Sherry makes a really good point. This is part of what the Powell memo was about. People used to not idolize money like this, or at least they wouldn't admit it. The Powell memo was about trying to make Americans like business. We'll have to look into that. I'm going to type that into my notebook and maybe talk about that one day. The Powell memo. Maybe bring Sherry on and talk about that. That would be cool. And we'll call the episode Idolizing Capitalism or something. Ooh, that would be a good one.
I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah. Put capitalism in like the Hollywood sign, but have it capitalism instead. Ooh, I'm telling you. That's a good one. All right. Remember that. Keep that in your brain.
I will.
Okay, let's keep going. I do want to pass this this ad.
Yeah, the ad thing is kind of goofy.
Okay. Hopefully it passed it.
I want all my friends to be rich. I want all white people to be rich.
Oh.
I want to emulate them. I want to be one of them. I want to be among them.
Props for honesty.
There it is.
I don't give him any props for honesty.
That's what I was just saying.
I don't know. I don't even know if he is being honest, to be honest with you. Like, you could say props for honesty because now he's basically put out that dream statement. But like, once again, this is a dude that like tailor makes his to get talked about. This is a dude that's constantly out there like, what can I say to generate conversation? What can I say to get the Kyle Kalinskis of the world to talk about me? And that's just perfect. By the way, I hate poor people. I love rich people. I want all white people to be rich. And because basically what this dude has been taught, what this dude has been molded and formed into over his experience, over the period of his experience on the internet, is if I say things that upset people, and I say it in this smarmy kind of voice like this, so you just never know. Like, is he being serious? Is he not? Who knows? Give me that little green of plausible deniability. If I always seem like I'm in this jovial mood as I say this reprehensible stuff, no one's gonna know, so I'll just do that forever, and people talk about me forever, and that's how I make my money, baby. That's the Nick Fuentes model. Yeah, I love white people. I love Hitler. Just joking, baby. I'm not. Maybe I am. I don't know. Who knows? It's awesome, Nick Fuentes. And it's just like, I don't know. To me, the shtick is dumb. The shtick is tired. But obviously it works. Obviously it continues to work. Kyle's talking about him. And because Kyle talked about him, I'm talking about him. So obviously the shtick is working for him. So he has no reason to stop doing it. Really. He has no reason to stop putting out his little dumb videos and just like, ooh, what can I say next? How can I piss people off next? I don't know. I don't know. That's all I got to say about it. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't say it. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? Actually talk about the points brought up? Okay, he hates poor people. I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. I don't care. That's it. What a white wannabe. Yeah.
He said, what a white wannabe.
Well, here's the thing. You just wonder why Nick Fuentes is an incel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, He can find himself some racist white girls to get with him, but that's about it. Usually
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
missing a few teeth and most of their head is shaved. So
yeah, I mean, that I think that maybe if he had a different perspective, he probably would. I mean, he might find a girlfriend if he could change his perspective. He's just an awful person.
he is. That's an incel for you. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are just showing themselves, their true selves. I'm kind of agreeing with the amazing atheist at the end. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, raise the roof or get all mad because he hates poor people? Like, I knew it. I know enough of him to know that. What am I gonna do? Change his ways? That guy's set in stone for sure.
I'll tell you what, it was not just Ronald Reagan, but it was also a media personality like the late Rush Limbaugh that also took that basic message of Reagan and made it more toxic. That created more right-wing voices in media, where people like Nick Fuentes is just another asshole with a right-wing point of view, trying to troll people. Now, I do think he's trying to troll people. I do think he's sincere about it, which is shitty, but I also think he's trying to troll people at the same time, which he's doing it for. Yeah, he's doing it for clicks. He's doing it for clicks too. So,
they all are.
Yeah.
All an ego contest. It's all it is. And yes, he eats his boogers, so that's probably why he doesn't have a girlfriend.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or he's kind of in the closet, right?
I heard he is a closet case, and and a lot of these homophobes are. A lot of these really loud people are. The ones that scream about grooming kids and all that. Not that LGBTQ is connected with that, because they're heterosexual people that do that sort of thing too. But it turns out that the people who scream about that the most are the ones who get caught doing it.
No, absolutely. I mean, you ever watch those episodes To Catch a Predator? There was a lot more straight men in there. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So next on the agenda, I absolutely love this. So, America, they hear that, there's aliens and, the people or the government's like, well, maybe there may be, there might be aliens. There might not be. We don't know. Maybe you can help us. If you ever take pictures, let us know, all this stuff. And then, Mexico, they hear about aliens and like, here you go. Here's some fucking aliens, y'all. Like, Mexico's G, like absolutely G with it. But I do have to admit, since I know that we've all probably seen this whole thing that's been going on with Mexico and these aliens that were shown, they look like stones. They look like rocks. Like, I'm like, I see those aliens and I'm like, I'm like thinking Game of Thrones. Like, I wonder if you throw them in a fire, like real aliens might come out of the fire afterwards, like the dragons, like the dragon eggs. Cause those things are stone. Like, there's nothing realistic about it. But so here is, a news report about the amazing Mexico just being like, here's aliens, y'all. Have at it.
Evidence of Congress.
Bye, Sherry.
They show two bodies in caskets, white-looking corpses who were said to be found in Peru in 2017. They're estimated to be about 1,000 years old. Now, the expert who unveiled them is a self-described UFOlogist. Get that, ufologist? Yeah, that's a thing. He says the bodies were not human, citing scans that show the bodies have big brains, big eyes, and lack teeth.
Oh, so okay, that's one of them. Hold on, let me grab the other one as well. So they're calling it a hoax. Scientists are apparently calling it a hoax. So then, all right, here's the next one about it. I didn't realize it was so short.
Dos minutos. y dijeron a la opinión pública que luego empezamos mutilados para... Tome muchas, no hay minutos más.
So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I want to know if you guys think that these were real aliens. Do you think that Mexico is G for doing that? What do you think, Willie?
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm an agnostic on it, but when it comes to extraterrestrials, I mean, do I believe there is such a thing as extraterrestrials? I believe they exist. I don't know if they've actually came here. I think if they exist, they're probably human like us. That's all. That's what I've always thought. They're either more primitive or more advanced. But I have no. I don't know. I'm an agnostic on it, I guess. On
right.
This. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah. I think that. I mean, I don't believe that if there's other aliens all over the entire universe that every single one of them is humanoid. Definitely don't agree with that part, but I don't believe that we have like 2 fossilized little aliens that are that size, and that to me is like, why would they come here? They have plenty of other things to do. We're very primitive in a lot of the planet's minds, and if it's less primitive or more, they're behind on us, then there's no way they're coming to see us anyway. So they have to be more advanced, and why would they be coming to something primitive like us? It would be like us going to an anthill. What's the fucking point? You wouldn't go check out an anthill for no fucking reason. So that's how I feel about it.
And they could be so advanced that they see us here the way that we behave as a civilization. They're just kind of like, holy cow, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this species in this world? So they'll be like, they're probably going to boycott this planet.
Right. They absolutely would. We're too violent. There's no way that they would put themselves in danger to come over here with us. Come on now.
Yeah.
All right. That mine was pretty quick. You got another one.
Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Yeah, I guess Jen Perlman won.
Yeah.
Yes. Basically, Bill Maher, being the elitist prick that he is, and his evolution, his grift, and all of that. He says that writers are not entitled to a living wage, and so Jen Perlman, Peter, and this guy, they're all basically having a discussion about what an asshole Bill Maher is.
All right.
Yeah.
That he's making here, I think, my opinion, and I think it's reflective of where people in his circles are feeling about what's going on with the writer's strike and the SAG-AFTRA strike.
I saw that video. I think I know what you're going to talk about.
We talk a lot about labor here because, and you mentioned that earlier as well. That's like this part of the equation that often gets left out when we're talking about like race and class. And right. It's like those 3 things really kind of need to all be addressed. They're like sort of 3 legs of the same table. Like it needs to work.
We're going to play a 2-minute clip now so that you get an idea of what class war really looks like when somebody like Bill Maher, who it seems that a number of people on the left or even in the middle and so on have a favorable opinion when he makes certain takes. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, he is a classist of the highest order, and he loves.
Oh, he's even worse than that. He is an actual pit bull of democratic centrism.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
When he started saying that Bernie and Hillary were basically the same person,
oh yeah.
Like, okay, well that's a giveaway. So here we go. Bill Maher, with Jim Gaffigan sharing his thoughts on exactly how terrible this writer's strike is becoming and how inconvenient.
The strike is a perfect example. Those guys would never go back. This strike could go on till the 24th century. They would stay out. I feel for my writers. I love my writers. I'm one of my writers. But there's a big other side to it, and a lot of people are being hurt besides them. A lot of people who don't make as much money as them in this bipartisan world we have, where you're just in one camp or the other. There's no in between. You're either for the strike, like they're fucking Che Guevara out there, like this is Cesar Chavez lettuce picking strike, or you're with Trump. Like there's no different. There's only two camps, and it's much more complicated than that.
It is, but I do feel like there is a lot of the points, a lot of the grievances I kind of agree with.
I do understand that they're getting screwed a bit by the streamers, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a change, and you either, it's like anything that is, I believe in free market, but I also believe in trust and then verify, right?
What does that mean?
Meaning, you don't trust, like the reason, I mean, Zaslav made $400 million, and I think they're looking for 80 million for, it's like they're gonna, you leave a kid in front of a bowl of marshmallows, they're gonna eat the marshmallows. It's not like some grand thing.
Well, I don't know. What are you saying? They're only asking for $80 million?
Well, I'm saying
they're asking for a lot of things.
They're asking for a lot of things.
Like kooky. Like what I find objectionable about the philosophy of the strike, it seems to be they have really morphed a long way from 2007 strike, where they kind of believe that you're owed a living as a writer, and you're not. This is show business. This is a make or miss league, and not everybody.
You don't think that they should that streamers real numbers that they can?
Oh, maybe
things?
Sure.
Okay, so they're not deserving of a living wage
or health care.
Well, but just that he said that, it's so insulting.
But it's revealing. It's very revealing.
He's like, I love my writers. They're not entitled to a living wage, but I love them.
Well, you know what's interesting? I mean, obviously, Bill Maher is, a boomer. He's Ivy League educated. He went to Cornell. He's from New Jersey. You from New Jersey also?
Oh yes,
he is.
Okay, so you're familiar with the, contrary to the notion that New York and New Jersey is some kind of liberal bastion. It's not the kind of Democrats that you have in New York and New Jersey at all, by any stretch of the imagination. So his worldview is very much shaped by his background, and also he's old enough to remember watching the politics of the 60s. And he strikes me as one of those who was pretty much scared and didn't like it very much, the way the country was changing in a lot of ways, and tend to kind of side with authority. But the thing is, though, to be fair, when he started in television, he was much more left than he is now. Like, he evolved. Yeah. So maybe there's something that explains this as to why he evolved into being such a centrist. Because I remember when he had the other show, as a matter of fact, didn't he lose a TV show? Because he said something about how the United States kind of deserved 9/11 because of all foreign policy or something like that.
He made some sort of comment in that regard.
Politically incorrect? Yeah, I watched Politically Incorrect, and I remember the show. What happened was that it was 9/11, and he basically said, there's a lot of things you could say about the terrorists. One thing you can't say is that they're cowards. They were willing to die for their cause.
Right.
And for some reason, that was considered, oh my God, how could you say such a thing? Well, he's not wrong. And that's what you fire him for? Yeah. And then the next thing you know.
So this is a possible theory. Maybe the sting of getting burned from politically incorrect made him realize, I got to play ball with the establishment, and I'm going to play ball as much as possible. So that possibly could be why he really shifted to being, I mean, he wouldn't be the first. I'm not saying he was ever a leftist, but he wouldn't be the first person whose circumstances, whether getting fired or otherwise, helped them play ball with, management or the bosses or the elites to keep their pocket greased, if you will. So that
Yeah.
might explain it. But regardless of how he got here, he's got horrendous classist politics. He's clearly a class enemy. I mean, he is used to shore up the worst of Democratic centrism. And frankly, I wish that people on the left would call him out more for the class enemy that he is. Part of the problem we have is that too many people believe regular Democrats are leftists. They are not.
Right. Right. And I would say, especially in the case of Bill Maher, and looking back, like, and I have watched him forever, and I will always give him Religulous, shout out, that was a great film. And his stance on like some of his routines and stuff where he would call out certain religious stuff was great to me as an atheist, and I always appreciated him for that. But looking back, he was never a leftist. He was always a libertarian. And his attitude was always, I can do whatever I want to do, and consenting adults can do whatever they want to do. And that is one of the reasons I actually do like him, in that a lot of those in certain regards, but he was never left.
No.
But now he's become like extremely elitist.
I think that there's a couple of ways to look at it. Number one, I can still remember the first, when Bernie really picked up momentum in the summer of 2015, he was a guest around the same time that Ann Coulter went on the show, and everyone like lost their, their ish, if you will, and were hysterically laughing at this notion that Donald Trump was going to be the next president. And she even said, well, if you nominate Bernie Sanders, that's going to be your best shot at stopping Trump. And even Barr was like, ooh, interesting. And so when he had Bernie come on, he made it very clear that I want to support your campaign. I want to see you get the nomination. I'd like to see you be the next president. I'm thinking, this is the Bill Maher that I always believed he was. And then shortly thereafter, ever so slightly, and then eventually very overtly, he basically came to the conclusion of, no, Hillary and Bernie are the same, so it really doesn't matter who. I do think that
Maybe somebody got him in line.
Well, I think that's definitely part of it, especially when you consider who owns HBO, Time Warner. And then at the same time, you also have to factor in what I believe is Trump derangement syndrome. I do believe that Trump broke Bill Maher's brain in a lot of ways.
Oh no! Listen. I'm going to be very honest with you. I think Bernie Sanders suffers from Trump derangement syndrome. I'll tell you why.
He's towing the party line on that one too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the fear of Trump is what stopped Bernie from going after Hillary after Trump won, or going after the Democrats. I think the fear of Trump is what stopped. Listen, Bernie Sanders in 2020, after the Democrats manipulated the primary to have Jim Clyburn fix it so that Bernie was knocked out and basically put the nomination in Biden's hands, Bernie Sanders had 35% of the Democratic Party in his hands that he could have turned into a movement to literally push the left so hard against both Biden and Trump and really done what was needed. And I'll be very honest, a lot of people won't like me hearing this. I actually blame the failures of Bernie Sanders as to why the left is so weak right now, because he did not pick up the mantle to push a movement, as he said he would, to challenge the duopoly and their duopoly-based capitalist politics. And instead, out of fear of Trump, just capitulated, well, Biden is my friend and I can't blah, blah, blah. And the left is falling apart.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support...
I agree.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about Bill Maher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've always been kind of mixed on Bill Maher. He would take a conservative position. He was like, he started off as kind of like a moderate conservative with libertarian leanings.
Mm-hmm.
Not the worst position in the world. Then he became kind of libertarian for Ralph Nader, libertarian for a down the line Democrat. And then he became all into Bernie in 2015, 2016, which was Bill Maher at his best. Then he went from there to supporting Amy Klobuchar in 2020. And now he sucks up to the Hillary Clinton wing of the Democratic Party and sucks up to Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro. So he's like the worst kind of person in his present form you can imagine today.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and he, and what people think is woke. I mean, he's like against this what he call woke culture. I mean, he thinks things like Medicare for all, and there's a mentality that Medicare for all is somehow woke or something like that. It's gotten to the point where it's going to get to a point where people think that paved roads, taxpayer-funded paved roads, is an act of virtue signaling and being woke or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I don't really like Bill Maher anyway. So just his political views over the last several years is gross. The way that he nuances everything to the point to where he sounds like a centrist. Like he makes everything nuanced to the point that he's super centrist on everything. I've watched a couple of his interviews. Yeah, I watched a couple of his interviews, and I understand that this is like his own personal life and his personal choices and stuff. But the fact that he like boasts about living this wonderful, beautiful single life and hooking up with these young, beautiful women, it's a little pedophile to me. So like how young are these women that you're hooking up with? Like that's great, go and live your single best life, but you have to say these young, beautiful women on your interview shows, like a little gross.
Yeah, he's an awful human being. I don't have any use for Bill Maher, and the contempt he has for those that are economically below him. Why people take him seriously?
Yeah,
I wash my hands of Bill Maher.
Yeah, I think it's gross what they're doing, or how he's, but like he said, though, like they said that he's like a pit bull for the center left or for the centrist. So I mean, he's doing his job. So
yeah, and there's people like that I react to. In some ways, I'm more angry at the center than I am at the right, because to kind of paraphrase Max Blumenthal, the right, they're cartoonish and they're to be mocked and laughed at and everything, but the center, they come there with this pretend notions of good intentions and trying to be everything to everyone, and you just can't be everything to everyone.
Exactly.
You got to actually stand for something.
Yep, exactly. You said it way better. Okay, so I've got one of mine now. We all know a couple weeks ago, or a week, almost 2 weeks ago, a guy escaped a Pennsylvania prison. Then there's been like a manhunt for him for the last like week and a half, and they finally captured him. I really like this video that I'm going to play. It's how police tracked down and captured the escaped Pennsylvania prisoner, and we'll watch it and then we'll talk about it.
Convicted killer Danielo Cavalcante is finally back in custody.
Our nightmare is finally over and the good guys won.
Cavalcante managed to elude authorities for 2 weeks by slipping past perimeters, stealing a van, and even using a razor he found in a stolen bag to shave off his beard in an attempt to disguise his appearance.
I don't know that he was particularly skilled. He was desperate, and I've said that all along.
And now we're learning how Cavalcante managed to stay one step ahead. U.S. Marshal Robert Clark was part of the task force tracking Cavalcante.
He ate a watermelon. He found a watermelon on a farm. Early in his flight, he drank water from the stream.
Authorities say they used the element of surprise to zero in on their target. Overnight, a DEA aircraft with thermal imaging picked up a heat source, but was forced to leave the area because of severe weather. Tactical teams eventually able to move in.
Cavalcante did not realize he was surrounded until that had occurred. That did not stop him from trying to escape.
When he tried to flee, a canine named Yoda by Customs and Border Protection took him down. Officers on the scene posing for this picture with a handcuffed Cavalcante.
They're proud of their work. They're not doing anything to demean him or harm him in any way there.
A chief border patrol agent posting additional photos online. Officers also recovering the rifle Cavalcante stole from a home earlier this week. Officials say Cavalcante planned to use the weapon to steal another vehicle. The family of Deborah Brandow, the ex-girlfriend Cavalcante was convicted of murdering, releasing a statement saying they're deeply grateful for the support and hard work by authorities. Also grateful, this community, once gripped with fear, now finally able to exhale.
I am super relieved, super glad that it's over.
And this morning, Cavalcante is waking up inside a maximum security prison in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, but where he will ultimately end up to finish carrying out that life sentence is still being decided.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah, so that's the story of that. You know, militarization of the police force, all this money that's being put in, and they couldn't even really find the guy until, I think that what they didn't even mention too, like somebody had caught him on their security camera at the house because he had stopped by like 2 of his ex-employees' houses and stuff. So like, one person, he tried to steal from one person in the garage, and the person that owned the home that he was trying to rob from shot him, missed him, but while he was running, but still shot at him. It just seems like the people in that town are doing a lot more than the police officers, and then they go around saying, well, we did super hard work and we worked really, really hard. Like, no, your dog and drones ended up getting him. You guys aren't, you know, all this money, and you still couldn't get him in a short amount of time or anything. Yeah, it took really, really long, and it took a lot of regular people's lives at risk to be able to catch him. So that's, yeah, keep, you know, yeah, propaganda, exactly. And then what that police officer was saying, like, you know, those guys worked really hard, we weren't trying to dehumanize them. That was because they took off all of his clothes except for his boxers and all stood around him and took a group photo with him.
Yeah. Yeah, the way the cops behave and everything, and militarization of the police is a problem. I mean, I support bulletproof vests because you know, I don't want anybody to be, you know, I don't want anybody to be harmed, including the police officers. I don't want bullets to be thrown at, you know, hurtled at them either. For them to look like they're about ready to go into combat in Afghanistan or something, it's ridiculous. You know, it ain't Adam 12 and it ain't Andy Griffith anymore. It seems like.
Right.
Yeah.
No, Les Bones, I mean, I understand what you mean by like all cops are bad until a murderer escapes prison. And I'm not even saying like this is the reason why we think that they're all bad. Like, we have super militarized our regular police to where they'll just pull over a person and shoot them for no goddamn reason. When somebody's barricaded in their homes, you're literally sending like an entire military police force to their house with tanks and all kinds of stuff. But a guy escapes prison and it takes you this long to get it, and it ended up being a dog and a drone and the community themselves actually finding this person. Like, yeah, this is the reason why all cops are bad, is because they do what they want in the wrong ways and then don't take care of the things that they're supposed to be doing in the way that they're supposed to be doing it. Like, you want to all this money that that has been given to you, and you still can't even find an escapist, but you can go ahead and shoot up a lady that's getting pulled over for speeding or something like that. That's what's crazy about the whole thing.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to go back to my experience 30 years ago when at the university. I mean, the cops will be going into these neighborhoods, these college ghetto areas, and going into the houses and breaking up parties. And usually they're not loud. They're not being they're not being a nuisance to anybody. It's just a lot of the cops are showing their way around, and they'll go and break up parties for no reason at all.
Yep.
I mean, they're just notorious for that. And it's a small college, but that small college, the students provide the economic lifeblood of that community, and in a lot of ways, and they're still, they're shitting on they're biting the hands that feeds them in a lot of ways. That's about how I look at it.
Yep. I completely agree with you, Miguel. Miguel makes a really good point. They won't take the risk, but they will take the credit. Absolutely true. That's exactly what it is.
Profoundly true. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Coming from a bad area, we never called or relied on the cops. It was people from the neighborhood who would ever do anything to substance. Exactly. I come from a poor area too. You don't call the cops. It's called green lights. Green lights out. No, I'm just kidding. You handle it yourselves. You take it out to the streets. You know that you don't call the cops. If anything, the cops are going to make things worse. So
looks like we have Sam Cedars King here today.
yes, I know. I'm excited, and I see that he's like not going to come to the Saturday night show because apparently lying or something. I don't know. He's so adorable. Anyway, you better get over it. He's going to be there. He better. So, yeah. So this week, tomorrow night, I got my show coming on with Warren, same as normal. That'll probably be also on my Twitch as well. Thank you all. I really want to give a huge shout out to all of you guys that are over there on Twitch, Mr. H, Les Bones, Hirsch, anybody else that I am missing that I'm not seeing right now because I'm trying to be done in the next 5 minutes so that you could get to work today on time. I just want to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for holding it down over there. That was a really, really, really big help for me. I'm still trying to get to 100 followers, subscribers, whatever it is, just so I can get past that goal point and not have to worry about anything else and keep going. I have been working with Sally. We're still going to get some more streaming on there. As of right now, I've got this stream on Fridays and Saturday nights with Warren on my channel. So definitely go and check that out. Hopefully there'll be more in the future. I don't know. We'll see. I think that's all I've got for me. What do you got going on this week?
Well, on Tuesday, I'm not going to say who the person is because she has not confirmed officially yet. But I'll tell you after the stream here is over. That will be a possibility for an interview. And I'll
surprise
stream.
guest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. As I said, it just got to be official. That's all. I'll be streaming, of course, during the week, and then on Friday, you and I will be doing another show, and that's pretty much it right now. And I'm planning to go on vacation fairly soon.
Oh, vacation! Have fun,
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yes, I need to go on vacation right now.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you guys all for coming. Who have I not said yet? Comrade Kitty, Gamer for Life, Rivethead, holding it up on Twitch as well. Thank you so much. Warren, thank you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow for work. Who else do we got? Sam Cedar is King, Les Bones. Sherry, thank you for coming. Definitely want to bring you on here as well. I love hearing from Sherry. She is just such an intelligent powerhouse. She is amazing. Definitely one of my idols in life. I absolutely adore her and love her and look up to her. Mr. H, thank you for coming. Daniel Berry's Sports Highlights came in and said, what's up? Sorry for not saying hi when you came in. Thank you for coming by. Who else? I know D was here as well. God, you guys just filled up this comment section today, and I absolutely adore you guys and thank you all for doing that. If I missed you all, I'm sorry. Your check will come in the mail once Soros gives me the check. I'm sorry. I will get a hold of him as soon as possible.
It's funny you said that. Last night, I had I don't know. Do you know Dwight Welch? I mean, not personally, but you know somebody that comes on my show named Dwight Welch occasionally.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he was on my show, and we made a joke about the George Soros check.
Yeah, everybody. That's a thing that I've always been hearing. So anytime I mess up with people or I owe money, I'm like, I'm still waiting on George Soros. He owes me so much fucking money, like so much money.
I like to say I'm waiting for my check from George Soros and Vladimir Putin.
Right. Yeah, it used to be George Soros and the Koch brothers. Now it's Putin.
Because well, Putin is supposedly funding half of the right, and he's supposedly funding half of the left.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you guys for coming. Okay, let's get out of here so you can get to work on time because I do not want you to be rushing again this week. So.
Oh, you're fine. No problem.
All right. Thank you all for coming. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Don't forget to check out any of the other shows that are going on. I know we got Political Matrix, Beauty and the Boomer might be back on. I don't know if they're still on a break. Are you going to be back on tomorrow doing a random show?
Oh, I forgot to mention that. I think I'll be here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time doing my usual show. Yes.
There you go. Okay, cool. And then we'll got the midnight show. So don't forget tomorrow, Saturday, for all of us boring boring old people that don't like to go out and party. Here is your party. Be on YouTube, Twitch, whatever it is, on Saturday night. I hope you all come. Thank you all for coming and being supportive. We will talk to you guys next week. Peace out.
Take care.